Welcome into the Hustle Show podcast, Week 8 college football, Week 7 NFL. We are brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer, vivatequilaseltzer.com. Use the Hustle as the coupon code. It takes 10% off. Also, Hustle20 will take 20% off. Check it out, vivatequilaseltzer.com, WagerTalk.com as well. The best free live odds in the business. I am Drew Martin, joined as always by Kelly Stewart, Chris Thurston, Adam Trigger, and Joe Ranieri coming on in just a minute. But we have a special guest with us, the owner of Viva Tequila Seltzer, Steve Thurston. Steve, thanks for joining us, man. How you feeling today?
Feeling good, Drew. Thanks for having me. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Hustle Show has been our longest-standing partner, even before we ever launched. I always like to say when our grapefruit can was still orange, the Hustle Show was standing by us. So happy to be here.
We're happy to have you, man. It's a great product. We appreciate the sponsorship. We love working with you, and we most of all love drinking it as well. So thanks for all that you've done. And hey, like we do with all of our guests, man, we got a best bet section, and we're not going to bury the lead here. Where are you looking to go? College football, NFL? We got hockey going on. I know you know all three sports. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't. I usually just tail what you guys say, so I don't have to do much research on my own. But I was texting with Kelly earlier in the week, and I asked her. I said, "Hey, what do you think about this pick?" And she was like, "Yeah, I don't know," and then never let me look at it, and then never got back to me. So I'll go with it anyways. But it's Liberty. Liberty, I think plus 6.5 in your office pool numbers. I think there's a plus 7 out there, minus 120 that I saw. I had to do my research before I got on so I could act like I knew what I was talking about with you guys. So I like Liberty. They're playing BYU at home. BYU hasn't beaten anyone good this year, right? I mean, they haven't beaten anyone with a winning record, So I didn't get any laughs. That was a dig at Chris for them beating Baylor. Baylor's only 3-3.
Yeah.
But I like Liberty. A good friend of mine, probably what I think is the greatest college football player of all time, Turner Gill, was a coach there. I met him on a trip to Costa Rica. We played golf together about 10 days in a row. So he was actually nice enough one day to invite me out to the Coaches Classic, the tournament with all the coaches from college football. There's a bunch of them. There's like 30 of them. They play at Pebble Beach in a 3-day tournament. So I played on Turner's team. Got to meet, Gary Patterson, Gus Malzahn, Rick Neuheisel, Bob Stoops, Steve Spurrier. It's pretty cool. So I'm going with Liberty. I think they're good. I played them earlier in this year. I forget which one. I took them in the office pool. But Liberty plus 6.5. If you can get plus 7, even better.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know Kelly in Vegas was liking that side as well. And BYU, one thing that I read is what they're moving offensive linemen over to the defensive side. You know that's always an alarm bell whenever you're kind of bringing your backups from one side of the ball to the other. Really banged up on the defensive front. Tough travel spot as well, most of the way across the country. Flames look like the side here and catching points. You're right. 2 shops in Vegas right now, a key offshore, looking at the WagerTalk live odds screen, showing 7 here, guys. So the Liberty Flames plus 7. Steve Thurston liking it. We'll break down some more games on the slate. I had FIU and Charlotte circled here for kind of my big game breakdown. Not so big. No, I was actually going to push it back, though. It's not big at all, Kelly in Vegas. Kelly Stewart at Kelly in Vegas on
I'd
Twitter.
Like to clear the air. I have been working for about the last 8 hours. This is the end of my shift. I'm drinking a Viva. Uncle Ben just got here. Dinner better be ready by the time I get done with this show. Steve, you haven't got a chance to watch Bet on it yet, but I gave you a shout out for pointing me in the direction of Liberty. I love Liberty this week. It is going to make my 3-team moneyline parlay. I'm sorry I did not get a chance to text you that was one of those plays, but that's just because you left the group chat. You were in the insufferable whatever fucks group chat. We change the name every week, I swear, but I think that's what it's called now is insufferable fucks. And you left. So you missed all of the discourse between me and the other members of the group. We missed a couple people. Ariel Epstein's in there, and our buddy Tahoe Joe's in there, except I think he might have left and needs to be invited back. But that being said, we discussed Liberty this morning, and so I thanked you on Bet on It and said, thanks, Steve, for putting me on this bet.
Sometimes, I mean, I've been added and taken out of a few different group chats. I can't handle it, hundreds of messages an hour, and I look at my phone too much as it is. So I like just texting you guys on the side, listening to the game, and getting my VIP service of the picks. That's the best way for me.
And we got a lot of picks coming up here, Hustle Show listeners. Huge shout out to the chat box as well. Everybody joining us live on the WagerTalk YouTube channel. Steve, quickly, man, I mean, Viva, it's doing really well. Do you mind just giving a quick kind of recap of how it started? I know you're making a big bet personally on this, man. Just a little rundown on it.
Yeah, I would definitely say that Viva is the biggest bet that I've ever made. Poured almost every single dollar I had and a bunch of dollars that I didn't have into it. But even more so, the commitment that we have to friends and family and even consumers who have given us their money to kind of grow the brand is a lot of pressure that we have every single day. We don't want to let anyone down, but it's pretty fun. I say working for yourself is better than working for somebody else, but you're never really working for yourself because there's always somebody who's telling you what to do, somebody above you, whether it's investors, board members, or something. So being in the alcohol business isn't the worst thing in the world. As far as how's it's going, we just did a big deal with Nesson, New England Sports Network. We are the official hard seltzer of the Red Sox and the Bruins on Nesson. So if you're ever watching, the Red Sox are obviously over. It'll be starting next year. But Bruins, you can watch a Bruins game on ESPN Plus and choose the Bruins feed. You can see all of our ads, our in-game ads, as well as a couple other shows, another betting show as well on Nesson. So we really we see sports and gambling as a big platform for us, almost the second biggest one outside of kind of fitness, health, and wellness. The brand is meant to be as healthy as possible. It's 88 calories, 0 carbs, 0 sugar, gluten-free. We're paleo-friendly, we're keto-friendly, we're vegan-friendly, we're non-GMO. So we made it trying to be, with that health and wellness piece in mind. So we think that there's a lot of trends going that way. People want health while they're drinking, while they're watching the game, while they're betting and trying to win back some of the monies for their entertainment.
No, I love it, man. Being healthy-ish in terms of being able to enjoy yourself and have the drink. It's my favorite drink out there, guys, not just because it's the sponsor of the show. We did have big game breakdown, Pac-12, UCLA, Oregon. Steve, I was looking to be on UCLA here, plus 6. I haven't seen a Pac-12 team kind of push around a defensive front like I saw UCLA push around Utah, man. So I don't know. I know they're going on the road. Eugene's a tough place to play, but I think UCLA kind of has the hosses up front to stay within 6. So for big game breakdown, that's the side I was going to go on. Steve, if you have anything on that, man, throw it out there. Also want to ask you about, you bring up Nesson there in the Northeast. Do you have any plans to kind of expand down in the South, Southwest, out West, and a new Hustle Show coupon code, man, to help out the listeners, right?
Yeah, you stole my thunder early on. I wanted to announce, that we, because of the great partnership, we created a new promo code Hustle20 for 20% off. While we're not on shelves in every single market across the U.S., you can get us delivered right to your door from our website, vivatequilaseltzer.com. There's a link to it through our Instagram page, and you can use that promo code. So whether you're in Hawaii, you're in Iowa, you're in Texas, you can get Viva delivered to your door. We're in 8 states, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New York, New Jersey, Florida, California, and Pennsylvania. Now, those are some huge states. We're not everywhere in each state, But coming down to Florida, I met you down there the other day when we were selling into the Total Wines in Florida. So our Florida friends in Fort Myers and Naples and Palm Beach and Fort Lauderdale in Jacksonville can get us at their local Total Wine, which is great. But we want to get to everywhere, but we want to grow in the regional footprints before we start to expand everywhere. So we really believe in, Nesson, the regional TV is really hitting our target audience. So I'll leave you with the last piece you asked me about was UCLA. I like UCLA. I've picked them a few times this year. I like Chip Kelly. I think he's getting into his own. The quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, is very good. So I've seen a future out there for UCLA to win. I think you guys were talking about to win the Pac-12 earlier in the year. I'm on UCLA. I'm going to pick them in my office football pool as well.
Steve Thurston, a smart man, owner of Viva Tequila Seltzer, also knows his sports betting here with the UCLA Bruins. Guys, remember, 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, 88 calories, tequila. I believe tequila is the healthiest liquor out there. That's what I've been told here, Steve. I know it's a healthy drink there, Viva. I don't know if you got anything lastly on that. I guess any more future plans or any final thoughts before we get into big game breakdown with the rest of the crew?
Yeah, I mean, we chose tequila for our drink because of a lot of the health benefits that people see from it. The 0 sugar, we think it makes it a lot more drinkable. I'll give you an example. For my favorite flavor is watermelon. If you ever had a reposado tequila aged in oak barrels, you kind of get this creamy vanilla oaky note to it, and that's kind of how we made watermelon taste. We believe that that fake Jolly Rancher taste is artificial, and we wanted something more fresh that really gave homage to kind of tequila and the Mexican roots. So that's why you got kind of our watermelon the way it tastes, the way it does. So I'm thankful for you guys to, that you like the product, for all of our customers, for the co-founders that I have, Chris and Morgan, as well as all of our team members at Viva, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, Steve. Thanks for the insight, man. Liberty Flames, like in UCLA as well. And guys, check out Viva Tequila Seltzer, vivatequilaseltzer.com. Steve Thurston, ladies and gentlemen, and now we're there you see it there. Viva Tequila Seltzer. Good guy in Steve Thurston. Let's get into the games now with the crew. Kelly Stewart, CT Bets 16 on Twitter as well. Chris Thurston and Adam Trigger. I am Drew Martin. We got Joe Ranieri coming in just a minute. Trig coming in, man. Welcome in. How you feeling?
I feel great, Drew. I just wanted to chime in on Liberty because I agree with Steve Thurston there. I think Liberty's the right side. He probably played them against Wake Forest when Trig had a big bet on them and they lost by 1 in a game that they nearly won. I believe they lost 37-36. Kelly's holding up a 4. I have no idea why, but I'm going to continue my thought here.
Turnovers in that game. Hello? Did you forget that I was on them as well and I wanted to... Never mind.
Well, you probably had a sprinkle. But listen, I've never liked Kalani Sitake for BYU. I thought he's an overrated coach for years. He had that pandemic year where they played all easy teams and they had Zach Wilson at quarterback, and it suddenly made him it elevated his status. But Drew, I know you have a stat on Hugh Freeze, who is a great coach. And I want you to share that stat with everyone because I don't have it here, but it's a great stat that I think plays a little bit in this game.
Well, actually, guys, speaking of the group chat here, it was something I threw out in it, and Kelly kind of held me, I don't know what to say, but, made me kind of go on point with what the stat actually is. Up until middle of last year, Hugh Freeze was the most profitable coach, active FBS coach in football. I don't know if it still stands like that. I know Lance Leopold is making a run at this. Sonny Dykes is another guy, Billy Napier, in terms of bet on coaches in college football. But one thing I was just going to say, because KIV was liking Liberty, is Hugh Freeze, no matter where he's been, Arkansas State, Ole Miss, and now at Liberty, he has been an absolute money casher, and he's at or near the top of active FBS coaches against the spread. So that's what I wanted to throw out there.
has to have one of the biggest sample sizes of that crew too, because he's been around forever.
Yeah, absolutely. KIV, I know you know Liberty, the Flames, Hugh Freeze. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I know nothing. I know nothing about these schools that don't matter. I don't follow the Sun Belt. I barely even follow the AAC. Listen, I like the Power 5 schools, and traditionally that's because that's what I've always followed. So I do think that sometimes you can get a little bit of information overload. And that's why I said Steve Thurston is the one that put me on to Liberty. I did not have them on my long list. I have a whole bunch of other teams. And the more I got to looking at Liberty and texting you guys in the group chat, I thought, all right, here we go. I guess my fate, if you will, is going to be in Hugh Freeze's hands. And Mark Lawrence, good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, Wager Talk. He does a weekly newsletter, and normally it comes out like Tuesdays, but it didn't come out until this morning. And I immediately scrolled all the way to the bottom. Well, first I stopped at K-State. And I said, oh, okay, good. He thinks K-State is going to beat TCU, which is really nice. And then I scrolled back down and I checked his notes on Liberty. It's 29-11 against the spread run, Drew, at home in particular. And then 9-3 as an underdog as of late. So been a really good ATS coach. Obviously, that's not over the course of his entire career, but as of late, he has been red hot, particularly as an underdog.
Yeah, I love those stats. I mean, at Liberty has been money, like Kelly, like you just talked about. And think about it. I mean, it all makes sense. I mean, when he got shown the door at Ole Miss, it wasn't because he wasn't performing on the field. It was because of that whole, I don't know what situation to call it, but girls getting called or whatnot. And then before that at Arkansas State, how he got the Ole Miss job was obviously you win in the Sun Belt, you become, an SEC head coach. So it all kind of stacks up for him to have a really good ATS record. All makes sense here. And Liberty going up against BYU looks to be a heck of a side. CT Bets, man, it's been too long. We can't bury this lead any longer. CT Bets 16 on Twitter. Every game on the board this week as well. He killed it. Chris Thurston, welcome in, buddy.
Hey, Drew. Yeah, I had a pretty good week last week, as I told you when we just did every game on the board. I was going to give out a different best bet for big game breakdown than I did on every game on the board, but this is one that I really like a lot. So I'm going to give out the same game that I gave out as my best bet on every game on the board, and that's Ole Miss at LSU. And Drew, as I told you on Sunday, I have a nice LSU +3 ticket in my pocket that I feel really comfortable with. I bet the opener on Sunday at 11:30 in the morning Eastern, and I couldn't believe that LSU was catching 3 at home. After Ole Miss last year, they lost a ton of key pieces. I give Lane Kiffin a lot of credit for what he's done with this 7-0 Rebels team, Drew. But outside of the home win versus Kentucky, I'm sorry, the wins really aren't too impressive. I'll rattle a couple off for you here. Troy, Central Arkansas, Georgia Tech, Vandy, and like I said earlier, Drew, sorry about Auburn as well. The schedule starts to get pretty tough for Old Lane starting this weekend down in the Bayou. Then it's followed by at A&M. They get a bye. Then they're home versus Bama. And they have to go to Lafayette at Arkansas here. So the Rebels are in for a little bit of a wake-up call. And I don't think we haven't seen really those normal chunk plays that we're used to seeing here from Lane. And I think they need to be a little bit more balanced on offense here to outscore LSU this weekend. And this is a revenge game. As we saw last year, the Rebels took the Tigers down last year 31-17. LSU had a huge win last weekend. Shout out to Trig. That was his 5% play on Wager Talk here. They took care of business down in the swamp. Arizona State transfer quarterback Jaden Daniels, he was brilliant, and he's been kind of brilliant the past few games here outside of the home loss to my Rocky Top, Tennessee. He had 350 yards last week, 3 TDs to outscore the Gators. Rebels have some defensive liabilities that are probably going to catch up to them this weekend. Lay the short number with the Tigers this weekend as they improve to 6-2. Drew, I played the +3 on Sunday. Obviously, I was limited there. I came back on the money line here, -125. Really, Wager Talk odds board sees -2. It's -1.5 at Circa. So you could probably, if you don't feel comfortable laying the 1.5 there, I don't think that's a problem. But I'll give my best bet out as LSU -125 this weekend down in the Bayou.
Well, money line, go Tigers, absolutely. I mean, you bring up Auburn, no offense taken, CT Bets, but Auburn was in that game. I mean, felt like they kind of could have won. So it's not like LS or Ole Miss, like ran away with that by any means. And you're right, the schedule has been a little bit too easy for the Rebels. Hey, we got a lot of people in the chat box right now. Roger Long saying girls getting called. I didn't know what to talk. I believe he had like, the girls go meet recruits or whatever. That's why he was showing the door there. We also have some funny comments in terms of saying Steve, he's quite a lot nicer than his brother towards UCT bets.
Yeah, but they both sound the same. Listen to them. If you just had your eyes closed and you just listened, I'm like, oh my God, I see it now. Because I just had lunch with Val, who's fucking fabulous, their mom, yesterday. And I was laughing because we were just talking about brothers and how interesting sometimes brothers are very different. She's like, my two boys are just so different in certain ways. And I'm like, oh no. I think it's pretty funny. Steve has a much nicer demeanor, but I don't know if I believe it's real.
And
at
Drew,
least I know what I'm getting with Chris.
Drew, to whoever say that Steve's nicer than me, Drew, I'm not here to be nice. I'm here to give the audience winners. And I don't know. My track record said I'm doing a pretty good job at it. Take a look at last weekend, 2-0 on the picks I gave this weekend. So I'm not here to be a nice guy. I'm here to make people money.
CT bets, absolutely, man. Also, some other funny comments. Philip Hamilton saying, "Hey, Steve, are you a clone of Danny Kanell?" Danny Kanell there. Of course, used to be at ESPN, CBS Sports. I don't know if he's ever gotten that one before. Also, quarterback for Florida State. KIV, are you seeing that one?
Oh my God, that's hilarious. I would have never thought that. Yeah, I still follow Danny from way back in the day doing his show like a million years ago on ESPNU. I can kind of see that with the hat and the glasses. Yes, not in real life, but yes, just for that blip, he does look very similar to Danny.
Nice. We got Antonio Lewis in the house as well. What is up, Antonio? Stephen Lambert as well. Shout out to you. Jermaine saying he had a Viva one time in Hoboken, New Jersey at a bar, and it was really good. It is really good, guys. Viva Tequila Seltzer.com. Hustle 20 at checkout takes 20% off. We got a big game slate in recap here. Trig, do you want to throw out anything else before we get to best bets, man?
Well, yeah, so first, I just want to follow up. LSU, minus 125, 4% play for Trig. Agree with everything CT Bet said, and the fact that he's not here to be nice. He's here to make money. Let's just reiterate that point. But Drew, I wanted to add one more thing there. Ole Miss, there's only one power conference team in the entire country that has a week 10 bye and has to play 9 consecutive Saturdays in a row, and that's Ole Miss, because they play at Texas A&M next week. They have the latest bye week. So it's just throwing something else out there to make things more difficult for them, is they have to go to Baton Rouge, then at Texas A&M last week, and they still haven't had a week off or a long week. I noticed that earlier. Fully agree with Chris. Love LSU. Client played for me. As far as a recap from last week, we hopefully we have time to get to another big game, because we changed the format a little bit where we're just going to kick games around. People seem to like that. And the games that we kicked around last week did extremely well. The best bets did not. However, I'll give Chris his shout out. He had Giants plus 5.5. And I believe his other best bet for the show was Oklahoma State. Both of those won. The games that we kind of discussed as a unit were Tennessee, which got there, the Syracuse Orange, which got there, and Oklahoma State. So yeah, we'll try to hit the best bets this week. Unfortunately, our sharp move on Marshall did not get there. But we'll get to best bets. And Drew, I don't know if we've got enough time, but your boys headed on a whim to Death Valley this weekend. So can we just kick around Clemson, Syracuse real quick? Do the Orange have any chance? I'm curious to see what you guys have to think.
I think so. I'll say this, Trig, about that one. What their one road game so far was at Storrs, Connecticut against UConn. And now they're going on the road at Clemson, South Carolina, Death Valley, like you talk about. I don't know, man. You can't get any more night and day than that in terms of road atmospheres. I feel like they're kind of walking into a buzzsaw here. That's what I worry about if betting the Orange. But at the same time, they've surprised people in this series against Clemson. Even beating them outright, not too long ago. So it's not a game that I've bet, but if you made me bet it, I'd probably lay it with Clemson, Trig.
No, I don't think they're going to win, Trig. I think that I just don't see that at all. They've only won 4 of their last 16 road games. The good news for you is I think they're going to cover. Clemson's defense, since back to last season, has just been on a freaking roller coaster ride. They give up a ton of points in overtime to Wake Forest. They gave up 28 points to Florida State. I do, however, have my concerns about Syracuse offensively. I know what their defense can do, right? Only 13.2 points per game, and they can stop them in the red zone. I do think they'll cover, but asking them to win is,
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Kel. A big bet for me preseason, as you guys know, is Clemson over 10 wins. I have a nice wager on that, and they've proved me to be right so far. They've passed all the tests, right? All the big spots. Horrible spot for them last weekend, having to go at Florida State. They take care of business. I had to go to Wake late September. They take care of business. It takes a couple overtimes. They get the job done. They play a tough game for at home versus NC State. They take care of business there. I don't know. I don't think Syracuse is live here to win this game. I think Dabo, ever since last year, has made it a point that he's going to be back in the playoff. And I think this Clemson team is going to run the table, win the ACC championship, and get into the playoff.
I like it. Good stuff there. Clemson and Syracuse. I think we got Joe Ranieri as well, guys. We got best bets coming in. Big game breakdown as well. Not sure if we can get Joe in here with any thoughts on Clemson and Syracuse.
Yeah, little impulse decision. Me, my fiance, her brother, we're flying down. We're just going for the day, going to the game, coming home.
And he wonders why I didn't want to go all the way over there to go to a game. He's not even going to be there, not even going to enjoy it, not even going to drink some Vivas in Death Valley. Like,
listen, we're going to we're going to get there. We're going to get there Friday night. Go to the game. It's a noon game. We'll hang out during the day. We're flying back like late at night. Quick business trip, Cal. That's all. But I will say one more thing about the scheduling spot. Clemson is one of like 9 teams that has played every single Saturday without a bye as well. So, I mean, they might be looking forward to their bye week, and they just had a couple tough games in a row, most recently Florida State last week. So could be a little bit of a flat spot for Clemson. I like Cuse with the points.
Joe, what about you? Did you have a big game you wanted to break down, or wait until best bets, buddy? Okay. Joe. Okay, Joe. I like what you had to say there. I think some people saying that they couldn't hear you though in that segment. Not sure if it's like
Uncle Ben just opened my office door. By the way, I have a new roommate.
All right, I'm going to.
Nobody can hear you.
All right, so I'm going to play. Can you guys? I know you guys can hear me. So let me, in summary, take South Carolina. Jimbo and Texas A&M suck. That's where you want to go.
Take South Carolina. Jimbo's
Take
one foot out
South
the door.
Carolina from Joe Ranieri. That's all you need to know.
That's it.
Boom. That's it.
I just recapped it for you. You're good to go.
Oh, yeah. The Cliff Notes version. And I appreciate everybody on Twitter that just added me. Mark Zeno as well. Shout out to you, Zeno. Everybody was letting us know the comments section was lighting up. It was funny. But yeah, now that we got you here, Joe.
Super funny. You know, I'm about over this technology. Technology has just been such a bitch. I got told that after Mercury was no longer in retrograde, it was going to go away.
Oh,
it's not. It's not.
And according to Uncle Benny, Joe is good. He's good now. We can hear him now.
All right, Benny.
We can hear him now.
Yeah.
I'd hold up my watermelon, except you
from
can't see it, so we're good to go.
You can't. Just the green.
And Kelly,
I just got, you know what I know the best part about going to lunch with Val? I mean, besides the fact that it's Val, is that I get there and there is 10 cases of Viva ready to be loaded in my car. She knew Ariel Epstein was coming to town.
What I'm talking
Joe, technology question for you. If you didn't have your green screen, could you just put all your Viva cans behind you? Would it work the same way?
It's nothing but cases of Viva behind me. I mean, you think Steven
That's what I'm saying. So if you had all the green ones,
man. I mean, I painted the whole damn room. I got one color of each can. It's fantastic. It's really good stuff. Thank you, Steve, by the way. Fantastic. Cheers, my friend.
I can't. It's just so goofy that you can't even see it. And speaking of ugly backgrounds, how did I get the chalkboard? Like, what is Joe doing?
I'm in front of a brick wall, Kel. I'm in front of a brick wall.
So I wonder why.
Listen,
there's some inside jokes to be had there, Trig.
CT has me locked in his basement.
That's
basically.
correct.
That's what that's.
Thank you, Joe.
Kelly, one thing I was going to say, what Joe said, not the Cliff Notes version, but before that was about Jimbo Fisher and Russell Wilson and the contracts. And I know that you've brought this up in terms of college football coaches and NFL coaches. I mean, the Carolina Panthers being one of them, where they fire their coaches and they're still getting paid so much money. I mean, Jimbo Fisher, he signed for $75 million and then left Florida State in wreck. Now he's at Texas A&M making a bunch of cash. If he gets fired, he's probably going to get even more money from him. He really, I don't know. You're right. He did his employers
If you want to
dirty.
blame somebody, blame KU football for starting this. They had to fire Mangino for some speculative stuff. I'm not sure whether it happened or not. He gets fired. Their team goes down in shambles. They've got guys like Charlie Weiss. Steve mentioned Turner Gill. There was guys on their payroll at the University of Kansas for 7 years where they were still paying old coaches. They set the precedence of, hey, you can be an asshole, get fired. Could you guys imagine? Could you guys imagine me getting fired and still getting almost all of my salary? That would be like a dream.
Drew, I have the number. I have the number, in fact, because I had to look it up because it was that disgusting and I wanted to throw up. If they do decide, he goes in, he loses, they don't win another game this year, and the boosters are like, you know what, you got to go, Jimbo. Don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. $86 million is what they would have to write him. That's his buyout. $86 million. So Jimbo, win or lose, his ass ain't going anywhere here, Drew, anytime soon.
I don't get. I mean, when we start thinking about boom and bust in the economy, at some point, these college football coaches, NFL coaches, we're gonna reach a ceiling here. I don't know. I mean, when you could just get kind of hire a coordinator and pay him $1 million and they'd be really at some point this is gonna turn around. I would think. I don't know, guys. Wild times though in the coaching atmosphere. Anybody else want to throw anything out before we get to best bets?
Yeah, Drew, I got one more college game here. I was going to give it out as my big game breakdown, but I went with LSU instead. And I think Joe's going to agree with me on this one. And it is at my alma mater, but I don't care. Kansas at Baylor this weekend at noon. Everybody still thinks that all of a sudden Kansas is a football school. I got news for you. They are not. They've lost 2 straight, and we're going to see Kansas back to their normal self. They got to go to Baylor this weekend for homecoming. Then they get a bye, and then they get Oklahoma State. at home. Good luck. It's going to be 4 losses in a row, and everybody will forget about you, okay? Kyron Drones, the freshman, will be pulling the trigger this weekend for the Bears. It doesn't matter if it's Drones or Shapen. All the money coming in on Kansas. They can't believe they're going to catch a touchdown and a half. Baylor by double digits this weekend. Baylor's 10-0 straight up against the spread against KU in the last 10, Drew, and I expect that to improve to 11-0. Play on the Baylor Bears minus 7.5 this Saturday at noon. They get the job done.
Baylor Bears.
And CT, I got to try just one. Got to chime in real quick. One of the teams that's on that list of having played every single Saturday, no long week, no bye so far this season is Kansas. So there you go.
There we are.
CT bets. What's the saying Baylor has? Like, what's their slogan?
Come on, Drew. Sick 'em Bears.
Yes.
All right. Sick 'em Bears. Let's get into best bets, guys. Marshall, JMU for me. 349-350, 3:30 Eastern kick here. Marshall, they went in, beat Notre Dame, beat the Fighting Irish, knocked them down, and have since lost 4 straight against the spread. Going up against JMU here. Hey, they are off of their first loss. It's kind of almost one of those things. What happens next? Do they fall off a cliff? Do they keep fighting hard? It's not like they were going to win a national championship anyways. I don't want to downgrade them too much here. Plus the fact they got killed in the turnover margin. They still had, almost 700 total yards. I'm not jumping off this train. Give me the Dukes. James Madison lay minus 11.5 is the low water mark right now. JMU for my best bet, minus 11 and the hook. Guys, a reminder, we're brought to you by Viva Tequila Seltzer. Go to vivatequilaseltzer.com. Use the coupon code HUSTLE20 at checkout. It takes 20% off your order. We got best bets coming up right now. And also make sure to check out the WagerTalk live odds screen. When you hear us talking about numbers, sides, totals, just click on college football, NFL, whatever sport you want, the Today tab as well. And it's the best free live odds in the industry. WagerTalk.com, live odds tab. Going around the horn here, 4 best bets, final thoughts. Trig up next at Top Flight SI on Twitter. Check him out at WagerTalk.com. Adam Trigger is his real name. Trig, where are you going for best bets?
Well, I said LSU is a client play for me, 4%. That's LSU minus 125. I gave that earlier. So I'll give you one more thing. A group I move for. It's very sharp. College football, probably the sharpest that I have access to, has hammered the over tonight every which way. Keyed it on parlays, took alternate numbers. So there you go. Why? I don't know. I know that the info didn't work with Marshall last week, but these guys win long term, and they took over 60, and they took alternate numbers, and they keyed it. So that's tonight at 7:30 p.m. Georgia State, Appalachian State. They played this over. I think it's like 60 or 60.5 right now. Believe they started hitting it at 59. So if you can still find a 60 out there, that's probably fine. But they like it to go well over this based on some of the alternate totals that they took. So that's what I'll give for my best bet on the show. Over 60 tonight, Georgia State, App State.
Question for the hustle. What are our rules on this? There's 160 out there. The rest is 60.5. I always feel like if
60 and a half, Drew.
Okay.
60.5.
Right.
Let's go 60.5.
Listen, this has already been the debate today in the chat, and I know we've got to hurry up. But Trig just says, "Oh, this sharp guy, this sharp group." He just speaks like all-knowing sharp groups, and I'm really sick of this shit. Because, this is the biggest problem. Drew, this is the biggest problem. I have hung out with several bookmakers. Shut up, Trig.
All right, listen, Kel, I'm gonna send you the last 6 weeks of plays that got this person cut off.
I don't
All right,
care.
we're just gonna lower his
You're
shit.
missing my point. My point is, and to reiterate from John Murray, from Tony Miller, to any of the other sharp bookmakers, Jay Cornigan, and they will tell you the same thing. Just because a sharp group hit it at a certain number, that number is no longer available.
Okay, but hold on. Let me I'll tell you what they got it at. I think it was 59.5. So in my opinion, I'm going to confirm that here on air for Kellyanne. Hold on.
I'm just saying that you can tail all these people all you want, but you'll notice this on Saturday.
I agree. Don't take bad numbers. Don't take
Saturday
bad numbers.
and Sunday, you'll notice there are certain points in time where I no longer tweet out certain plays we've talked about throughout the week because the number is no longer available.
But this
I
game
was
is
on
tonight,
South Carolina
Cal.
plus 6.5. And then it closed 3.5. It still won. Last week I was on Kentucky plus 6.5. It closed 3.5, and it still won. It didn't matter. But the point is there's a sense of responsibility that you have to have here, and that is stop giving out bad numbers. If they played it right now and you said hurry up and bet it, fine. But they played it hours ago. The number's long gone, and I do not think it's fair, just like giving out Washington football team to literally do this to our listeners.
What was wrong with that?
We like these people. You can share sharp action all you want, but you can't give it out as a best bet. You know who
I'm giving it as a best bet. First of all,
last week? Guess what?
First of all, Cal, I just gave one of the plays
because the number was no longer available.
I was yelling over you, so I missed what you just said. But I gave LSU money line instead of selling it for $25 on the site. I gave it for free, and I decided to throw that in as a bonus. And I don't know what the original number is, but I'll take. They played alternate lines, so I'll take over 60. It's not like it's Kentucky plus 7, and I'm giving it plus 3. I'm just saying they seem to like the over tonight, and it goes in an hour. It's not like it's been beat to death all week. It literally goes in 1 hour. So the people want plays that go tonight anyway. So we got an over that goes in an hour. And LSU, you don't have to go to the site and buy because it's a 4%
so what
play.
What are you going to do when at 61 this team buys back? What are you going to do? You're going to tweet out and say, sorry, hustle listeners, it was a fake move?
I can assure you that they're likely not going to buy back at 61 because they hit 3 different alternate totals as well. So that tells me they're probably not buying back at a game that goes in 45 minutes.
And punch trigger in the mouth segment. My best bet we already gave out, Drew. It was Liberty. Thank you to Steve Thurston again for putting me onto that team. Would have never looked their way had it not been for that. Thank you for you bringing up UCLA. I do lean that side. There is a strong possibility they will also be in my parlay. Outside of that, I don't have any other best bets yet. I did tail Joe already on South Carolina plus 3. I lean towards CT's Baylor Bears. I have not got to the window with that team yet because I do think that line's going to come down. I think a lot of people are going to want to back Kansas over a touchdown here, so I'm going to wait. And, a couple other teams on my long list. Cal plus 7.5, Marshall plus 12. We'll see, but my 2 best bets that I've already bet have already been given out.
Oh, so you did have Marshall circled. Oh, no, that's up against me, though. All right.
Oh, no. Hey. I asked the group chat if you guys – I haven't bet it yet. I'm looking at it, plus 12, seeing if they can beat James Madison. We'll see. It's early.
Yeah,
it's still Wednesday.
Yeah.
I got 2 days to come up with my parlay.
That's what makes the market. Good discussion as well. Trig, KIV going over an important subject here with sports betting. You got to get good numbers here. Trig defended himself as well. Keep in mind, not every move the same. 3.5 to 3 in the NFL is a lot different than 158 to 159 in a college basketball total. But still, numbers are important. Great discussion. I loved it, guys. The only thing is, try not to talk at the same time because that's kind of hard on the listener. So
she got me all fired up, Drew. But because I have to give her credit, I agree with her on Cal. And just since it's a theme of the show, Washington also on that list of teams that have played every Saturday, no week off, no long weeks. So just Washington on that list as well.
No, it was great stuff. KIV, Kelly in Vegas on Twitter, Kelly Stewart at Top Flight SI. He's Adam Trigger. We got CT Bets 16 on Twitter, Chris Thurston, CT Bets. What do we got? 5-1 last week in college football, 5-2 in the NFL. This man's on fire right now. We got to listen up. CT Bets, where are you going? Final thoughts as well.
Is it my turn to talk, Drew? I guess I'll go from here. I'm going to continue my trend here. I give out my best college bet and big game breakdown, and I give out my best NFL and best bet. So let's keep it going here. And I'm going to the Sunday night football game, and it's Steelers at Dolphins. Steelers coming off that wild upset. Tom Brady last weekend as home 10-point underdogs. They held Tampa to just 18 points. That's the second lowest total points scored that Tampa scored all season. Steelers won despite missing safety Minka Fitzpatrick and their 3 key cornerbacks here. Mitch Trubisky comes off the bench to save the day We don't know yet. Fitzpatrick and the corners are going to be back to help contain Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They both went over 100 yards last week for their second time this year, despite losing at home to the Minnesota Vikings. But, Drew, I do know who's going to be back to save the day and avoid the Finns losing 4 straight this weekend, and that's Trigger Man Tua Tagovailoa. And the Finns' offensive line, if they could hold up and keep Tua upright at the same time and give him some time to air the football out, man, this secondary for the Steelers, who's already banged up, is going to be in for a very, very long Sunday night. Sunday Night Football, play on the home team, Miami Dolphins, -7 as they get the job done in blowout fashion.
-7 across the board right now. I'll be there as well, CT Bet. So that's worth at least a half a point towards the Dolphins. Let's get after it. Viva will be there as well, in my hand anyway. Joe Ranieri, a man of many talents right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Big part of the hustle as well. Joe, any final thoughts here for the show? And what do you got for best bets, buddy?
One more best bet I'll throw out there in college, and I absolutely love the spot. And from what I understand, Trig told me his sharp group is taking him at plus 323. I'm only kidding. ECU right now taking on Central Florida. Drew, do you realize Central Florida, this is the first game they have left the state of Florida for?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
wow.
It's hard to believe. Like, they came to FAU, which is in Boca Raton, which is not a trip. That's not an away game. That's like driving 2 hours south on I-95. So ECU is defensively, I think, absolutely superior to them. Gus Malzahn, they just trashed Temple. I think this is a great opportunity with Cincinnati on deck, who they have not been able to beat in forever, UCF. This is a tough spot, I think, for Gus Malzahn and company to go on the road here and get the job done. So I do like ECU getting some points here in their very first road trip, actual road trip, out of the state of Florida for UCF.
I like it. All right, so we got ECU plus the points. That is +5 right now, Joe. That's good?
Yep, perfect.
ECU +5 for Joe Ranieri. You heard CT Bets. Dolphins -7 on Sunday Night Football. KIV Liberty +7. Saturday college football. We got Trig tonight, guys, going in about 40 minutes. He's on the over Georgia State, App State, over of 60 and a half.
Any number's fine, Drew. Any number's fine.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. Well, 61 and 61 and a half are out there as well. If this lands 60, though, KIV is going to be all over you. We got JMU.
It'll make for some good Twitter content if it lands 60. But I think it's going to land more like 75. That'll be my guess. But go ahead.
Hey, it's the Sharp Group, and I'm on JMU -11 and a half. Huge shout out to Steve Thurston, the owner of Viva Tequila Seltzer.com. Guys, you got to check it out. Check out Viva Tequila Seltzer.com. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, gluten-free, 88 calories, 4.5% ABV. Steve likes watermelon. I like huckleberry. KIV likes grapefruit. I'm sure elderberry is people's favorite as well for a loaded Viva. That's the best one to likely do. Pour a shot of tequila in there. Guys, good stuff all around. Viva Tequila Seltzer. Check out WagerTalk.com as well. A lot of free live odds screen, the best in the business. A lot of free plays as well. For Joe Ranieri, Adam Trigger, Chris Thurston, Kelly Stewart, I'm Drew Martin. We'll be back next Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Also, wherever you download your podcasts at The Hustle Show Podcast. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Cash those tickets.